What is going on, fellow apes? Again, it's been a long time. You know the drill. I have life, whatever. Oh, but recently, we did it again, boys. We bursted the bubble. Obviously, you can tell from the title. This is my second DMT Trip Report, and I'll just get into it. I didn't really write up the whole polished thing like I always do, and I just kind of have notes from right after I came out and a couple texts I sent one of my friends. Sorry if it's all like choppy, but I just really want to let all you guys know what happened to me. So I have a friend who synthesizes DMT from, I guess, the root or the bark, Mimosa hostilis, whatever. And he had a little deli container full of some that he didn't want anymore, or like he wasn't going to use it anymore. So he just texted me one day and was like, "Hey, do you want this?" And I was like, "Definitely." So that's how I got it. The method of ingestion was the glass pipe method, or glass bottle method, sorry. So basically I drilled a hole in like the bottom of a glass bottle, and then I'll just put a picture up on the video right now, but the way it works is you can put the crystals either in like some thick steel wool at the neck of the bottle, like the where you drink from, the top or whatever, and you hold the bottle horizontally and vaporize the DMT under the glass while you suck through the hole that you drilled in the bottom. And that's what I did. So I decided to do it alone in my room, because the last time I broke through, which was the first time I broke through, was with a bunch of people in some guy's backyard, or my friend's backyard, and I think it's obvious that that's not really the best setting. And I remember after I came out, like they were all talking about, I don't know, something, and I felt real lonely coming out, because I was like, oh shit, all these guys are, nobody's ever gonna know what the fuck just happened to me, and if I try to explain it, they'll all think I'm crazy. That's what I was thinking. So afterwards, doing it with a bunch of people wasn't that great. like right after I did it, I mean, that experience I think about that experience every day since it's happened. So I mean, it's still a deeply intense and spiritual experience no matter where you are, because it completely just pulls you out of this reality. But I decided to do it alone in my room this time, so I could just really go in on my own and see what's up, see what it's all about. So I started hitting it, and the guy who gave it to me said it might have been one or two good big hits. And I don't have a scale that measures milligrams, so fucking I don't know how much I took. But it was definitely enough. And what was happening was I would put a little on there because I just wanted to test how it vaporized, and you know, I just wanted to see how it was going to work at first with a small dose. And so I took like 10% of the crystals and put them in there, and I watched them melt, and then a little bit of vapor would come up, and you know, I'd inhale it, feel a little relaxed or whatever, but nothing at all. I wasn't tripping. Nothing was happening really, So I did that again, and I put more, and it melted, and I watched it melt, and a little wisp of vapor would come up, and I did that until all of the crystals were gone. And I realized that what was happening was I was heating up the glass to a temperature where it would melt, it would go from solid to liquid, but not reaching that temperature where it goes from liquid to gas. So all the DMT I had was pooling up in this one section of the bottleneck where it kind of dips down. If you're holding a bottle horizontally and it dips, the neck, where the neck turns into the bottle, it, dips down. Like there would be a place where it could all pool up. And that's what was happening. So after like 5 times being frustrated, like, oh, nothing's happening, I don't know why it's not melting, I realized what was happening and just heated it up for way longer than I did any of the times before. And in like 2 hits, I got all of the DMT I had, just right back to back, because I was heating it up and it melted, whatever, and then it must have reached like that temperature where, I guess, the boiling point of DMT, where it turns into vapor, and it all just vaporized at once, just the whole bottle filled with white, thick vapor. And I took it in, and it was basically, it was 2 giant hits where it was just all the DMT that I had vaporized, and one before that was actually substantial. So it was, let's say, 2.5 big, DMT hits. And after that first one, I was sitting in my office chair, the same one I'm sitting in right now, and I was looking out this window that I have in my room, and it looks out into the street, and there's a street lamp, and in between me and the street lamp on the other side of the street is a tree that I smoke weed underneath. So I took that first hit, I'm holding it in, and I look out the window, and the first thing that happens, or that's happened to me both times I've broken through, is everything just goes silent. Like, I don't know if you can hear, but I have a fish tank in here too, and there's a little pump and a fucking air stone and fans, air conditioner, just the sounds of, a house or civilization. Just silence, just that first rip, and then quiet, like more silent than there ever has been in my life. And I was looking out the window, and it looked like the street lamp, so the street lamp was casting shadows kind of into my room of the tree in between me and the street lamp. And it looked like, instead of the shadows being cast onto the hard to explain. It looked like if you could trace a shadow from the thing that it's getting cast from, like I could see the whole shadow, even the part of the shadow that was in the air. I don't know if that makes any sense. That's what I'm saying. And while still holding that first hit, I was looking around my room, and all the surfaces looked fake, like simulated, like very not. It wasn't like everything lowered in vibrance and contrast, and it didn't look like us trying to simulate reality, it looked like reality was being simulated, and the surfaces were just like pixelated, and they just looked fake. Like my what happened, what I feel, the way it feels is like your mind instantly elevates to a place outside of reality, higher than reality. And after that first hit, I was looking around and I was just like, this is all like, maybe not simulated in the way we think of it, maybe not fake, because it's real. Experientially, it's real. Like, we're all experiencing it, but there's more. Like, this isn't the ultimate reality, the one we're living in. And I was noticing all that after the first hit, and I was like, oh shit, it's happening. This is what I wanted. I'm gonna take the second hit. And I took the second hit, and it was just as big as the first one. And that's when my body just got like so heavy. My arms like flopped, to the sides of my chair. I leaned back and I closed my eyes, and it was just this vast, like unexplainably, by definition, ineffable vastness, just hugeness that I was within and expanding into. And off in the distance, I noticed a point of interest. And this is actually also something interesting that maybe I want to talk about a little bit. In a lot of my psychedelic experiences, specifically acid and DMT, there are points of, that's the only real way I can explain it. There are points of interest, like you'll see something like maybe off in the distance or something blurred or whatever, but you can tell that it is just like so dense in information and color, and just like it's a point of interest. It's an interesting thing, a point. And I saw that after I closed my eyes on the second hit, and I was looking at it, and it was like right in front of me, like really far away. And as I focused on it, it started to come closer and closer. And I was trying to make out the shape, like, what is this? What am I looking at? And you know how like on the hood of like fancy cars, there are little, I'm sure there's a word for it. It just escapes me. Like little statues, little golden, not a pendant, but you know what I'm talking about, on the hood of like a fucking Rolls Royce. I saw an eagle, like a golden eagle, and it looked like that, like one of those things with its wings closed and its head kind of down. And the instant I recognized it as an eagle, it spread its wings like just so huge, just like expanded into this whole vastness, and its wings spread. And from like the epicenter of the eagle, like its heart, where its heart would be, just burst of color, and like just just a cosmic explosion of beauty and intensity and emotion and feeling and selfness, and it was all coming from this eagle. And I recognized that this time, this is how the doorway is being presented to me. Like last time it was the classic, Terrence McKenna chrysanthemum, spinning colors, but this time it was something similar, but just in a different form, a different presentation. And I came out of it and manically drew it. So that's on the screen as well. So as soon as that great explosion happened, this is also when the sound, is getting intense, that like that was happening. And I knew, like, okay, here we go, here it comes, it's happening. and I didn't fight it, but I didn't want to be in my chair for some reason. Maybe that's, some part of me grasping onto reality, like, oh, something's wrong, you gotta move, blah, blah, blah. Didn't want to leave. I completely could have gone all the way and just sitting in my chair, people do, but I had it planned out that I was going to take the hits and lay in my bed. And I tried to get up from my chair, and my body was like just heavy, like it felt like I was wearing weights, and just so hard to control my body. But I managed to stand up and like twist towards my bed and then just flop face first into my bed. And that's when I started to go into the thing and through the tunnels. And I was going through this, I was flying so fast through this dark tunnel, like purplish, blue, darker tunnel. It's a literal tunnel that you go through. Like, I remember hearing about people talk about this and not being able to comprehend it before I've done it. But just imagine a tunnel, a psychedelic tunnel, and flying through it really fast. And that's what was happening to me. And I was like, I wasn't looking around, but I was aware that there were things around me. And the more aware I became of those things around me, I've started to understand what they were. And basically it's like this, right? It's like we exist in this reality. This is one of an infinite amount of realities. But all things, all realities, all timelines emanate from the same source, like the same white light, the same cosmic energy, the same ultimate reality. All things, all beings, all places, all times, everything emanates from this one great control room of existence. And as I was flying from my reality towards it through, nobody knows the metaphysical, nobody can quantify or qualify what is happening or where you're going, but it feels like your consciousness is pulled out of this reality into that greater control room, the center, the room in the middle of everything. And as this was happening in between realities, I was looking around and noticing that I could see into just completely other, different dimensions, different realities, different versions of life, of existence, of being. And there were an infinite amount of them. It's ineffable in the sense that I cannot explain what happened. I cannot put into words what happened to me. And I was looking around, and I was just getting that feeling of, that humbling feeling of like, oh, why in the fuck do I take myself so seriously? Like, there are dramas and timelines and entire histories and entire universes and existences outside of myself, and all I worry about is me and me. And that was basically the theme of the whole trip is, bro, stop worrying about yourself. Just like, look, like, check this. You think all your stuff is intense and, oh, you gotta get good grades, blah, blah. Bro, look at this. Like, that's what it was telling me. And I was just going so fast and seeing all these things, and I felt so small. But then again, this is the other thing that is exactly the same as my first one. It's like the intensity just rises and rises and rises and rises, and you're flying and you're escaping reality, and it's so intense, and then all of a sudden just you're somewhere, like You're there. You're in the middle. Everything, like it's like accelerating a car, like slowly accelerating a car until you reach its maximum speed, and then without even hitting the brakes, you stop at your destination. Like, it's not an intense stop. It's like, oh shit, I'm here now. Like, and then you're there. Like, and I was back for, I don't know, the 4th or 5th time in my life inside of the Ineffable. Yeah, I know how frustrating it is if you're someone who's never done this and hearing people talk about it, and then they get to this point and they can't explain it. But if you ever do it, you'll understand why. Because there was more happening. Actually, let me read you some texts I sent my friend because I was trying to talk to him about it. Hold on. I said, just like how from 2D to 3D all you do is add another dimension, be it length or depth, but I'm talking about everything, doesn't stop at 3D, at 3-dimensional reality, and the aspects that are added to those realities are what make them indescribable in this normal state of mind. So I mean, there are aspects of that place that you've never seen if you've never been there, and we're a broken record when we say it, but it's like trying to describe color to someone who's never seen it. But I'll do my best. I burst into this place again, 4th or 5th time in my life, in complete awe. I have that feeling of, oh, this is where I'm from. This is where I go when I die. There's so much happening. Things flying past me and into me and through me and around me, and it's like a dome. Everything is happening inside of this dome, this huge spherical dome, and the walls are like little sections of mechanisms and organic things, and it's just like folding within itself perpetually and while flowering out of itself, and just existing in every state, and all the information that produces our life and everyone else's life and people and beings outside of this reality and existence outside of what we know, and all the information, like the raw data for everything, is held within that space. And from the wall comes forth this just immense being, just huge, just the at the center of this being was like a golden piece of light, and surrounding it were just these arms made of red and orange. I mean, literally the only thing I can think to describe it is saying hyper technology. It's like highly, highly advanced, meticulously crafted and generated technology. Like it's very obviously doing something, displaying to you something, showing you, I mean, how it works. It's like this. It's like your whole life, right? You've been living in a folder on your desktop, and you have your files in there, and you're playing around and you got some games in there or whatever, and that's your entire scope of your existence is what's in that file. And then you do DMT and it's like it pulls you out of the computer entirely, and you have an opportunity to look at anything you want, everything, where your files come from, where you come from, how the computer works, who's operating the computer. It's ineffable. I could try for years. I could try for the rest of my life to explain to you what's in there, but you're not going to understand unless you go in there. And I mean, it's life-changing. It completely alters the way you view your entire reality, because your collection of experience expands outside of life, outside of reality, and it's profound. I'm genuinely sorry if I didn't do a good job explaining what happened, because it's still kind of fresh and I didn't really polish up my notes and everything, but that's my honest recollection of what happened to me a couple days ago. So yeah, I mean, let me know, dude. Whatever you want to talk about, let me know. I did want to say that there are a few things I'm not going to respond to in the comments anymore. I'm not going to talk about religion. I'm not going to talk about politics. And it's pretty surprising that this is so controversial, but I'm not going to talk about dosage. Those are basically the main things I get a lot of, we'll say, interesting comments on, and I have no interest in responding to people whose ideas are so set in stone that, I mean, yeah, I just have no interest in talking to someone who already has it all figured out. So yeah, if your religion does for you exactly what you need, then I genuinely am happy for you, because I wish I could be in that place, but I definitely will not be converting to any religion via your YouTube comments. So I appreciate talking about religion and how it came to be and the origins of it, anthropology, the values, but I have no real interest in being converted. But I also just wanted to thank you guys for almost 1,000 subscribers. I say it all the time, but it's mind-blowing, and I didn't plan for any of this. YouTube picked up 2 of my videos, or the algorithm picked up 2 of my videos, started pushing them to people's recommendeds and stuff, and that might be why I get a bunch of interesting comments. But yeah, I mean, I'm beyond grateful for all the continued support, and I mean, it means the world to me. It means everything to me, because this is my outlet to express these experiences that I've had that are not articulatable, are not sanctioned, are not something I can, talk to my dad about or whatever, or my professor, or I think it's important that not just me, that anybody who has had these types of experiences talk about them in any safe way you can. And I think the internet is a very, very useful tool in doing that. And I think that that's how we might break out of the cult of culture. Anyway, yeah, I'm rambling. Oh, yeah, another thing I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to address the comments saying, or I'm no longer going to respond to the comments saying, like, oh, you copied Terrence McKenna or Joe Rogan. I'll just say this. If 3 individuals, independently of each other, were to hike the same trail and come to see a tree that had been struck by lightning and split into 2, they might all say that independently of each other. And it's possible that one of them could tell their friends, oh, I hiked and saw a tree with a lightning strike. And that friend might, talk about that tree. But I've seen the tree. And anyone who sees the tree sees the same tree. And we're all talking about the same tree. So, if that doesn't make sense to you, I don't care. But that's my experience. That's what happened to me. I don't know what to make of it. As always, don't really plan to make anything of it besides just appreciating the fact that we're so small and just a minuscule fraction of the vastness beyond. And yeah, love all you guys. Thank you so much for watching.